Welcome to another episode of the Truth Podcast, where we rebuild lives by shaping mindsets to achieve goals. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And feel free to share with a family member or friend or someone you really believe needs to hear this positive message today. Today, our guest is the owner of G&G Steakhouse here in Rochester, New York. And we're talking about how he's been reviving his family legacy. Mr. Richard Gause is an entrepreneur and just an amazing all-around man. So I want to welcome you and thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. If you don't mind, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do?
Okay. I'm originally from out of Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And my family moved up here. I was about 6-7 years old. Been here ever since. But, you got to make your way back down to Florida every once in a while.
Exactly.
And been here. Been a community guy, coached, and gave my time to kids in youth football, youth track programs, and AAU programs, and baseball 40. The old Kodak 40 and 1 program, we kind of took it over and it became just 40 and 1.
Yeah.
And I ran that. I was commissioned over there. Then I found my way pretty much over to Bishop Kearney High School. To coach, started with modified freshmen and then found my way as a varsity coach for about 5-6 years. Enjoyed that. While doing that, he just had a awesome time doing a coach, helping kids become young men and young women.
Okay, yeah. Nice. I know you coached one of my good friends, Pastor Daryl Carter's son, Nathan Carter.
Yes. What an awesome young man.
Yeah, he really
awesome
is.
Young man, yes. Yeah, Nate was a guy who was a little bit hungry. He was hungry to want to be at the top of his game, at the top level. And as a 5th, 6th grader, he really saw college, and so we worked to those goals.
Yeah.
And we obtained each goal, and he toppled them. But the best thing about Nate Carter was every day that we trained at 5:36 in the morning, there were some days that we did not really work out. What we did do was we built a foundation with the Lord. Mm-hmm. We really built that, and we said that's the number one thing in your life and all that you do. Yeah. And he lives that today.
Oh yes, he did. And just got married too.
Yes, yeah. And awesome wedding, awesome. Just you know what? When they say God opens doors for you, God opened doors for that young man.
Mm. And he ended up initially he was at I forgot the school.
At UConn.
Yeah. And then he transferred
to Michigan State, mm-hmm. and he became the number one. He worked hard. He told them he didn't want anything given to him. And he made his pathway, and he stepped in there, and the number one, number two guys that was there, they were like, oh, this guy's built different. He works different. So, but he had a great foundation. So, and he lived it. It wasn't like I'm going to be in the gym every day for show. He was like, I'm doing what I do.
Yeah, his dad was a hard. I played college basketball with his dad, Robert Wesleyan.
Okay,
hard worker. All around great character, same thing. So he comes from good stock. You know what I mean? Yes, and his mom is a wonderful person.
Yes,
too.
The whole family, just an awesome family, and we're great friends today. Before this, but through it even united us a little tighter.
Nice. So obviously I grew up here.
Yes.
And one of the staples for me was G&G Steakhouse when you guys were on the corner of
North and Hudson.
Yes. North and Hudson's. So can you tell me about the history of G&G Steakhouse and how it was founded by your father?
Yeah. Well, there was actually a couple Muslim families running Rochester right now. They had about three locations. My father kind of set in with the Banks family, mm-hmm. and he worked. He was the head meat manager at Old Star Market years ago.
Oh, and people don't know about Star Market.
Market. That was like the store.
I'm old enough to remember Star Market.
The store. So he would, on the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, he would work at the restaurant with the Muslim family.
Okay.
And and then he when they were ready to like not do it anymore, they basically said, would you like to, do it, and to buy out. So he bought out, and we took it, and thus is the history. We renamed it G&G Steakout, and my father ran it for years and years and years. It brought, all of my cousins, my siblings, some grandkids, everybody, they worked through G&G Steakout, put them through college.
Wow.
They put them all through college, everybody. Some people came back from college and worked, and it was the place to go, place to be.
I'm telling you, you guys didn't have any parking, but it would be packed over there.
Yeah, it was outside, looked like an outside picnic area, kind of like just everybody hanging out, eating fries, with their aluminum foil open, just putting sauce on the face, sauce on their clothes, and it was just a great time. But through it all, what we did, we built great relationships with a lot of people to this day, and it stays with them.
So how long were you guys open over there?
It's almost like 35, 40 years ago that we over in that spot. Well, actually, the very first spot, a lot of people don't know, we were on Hudson and Clifford Avenue.
Really?
And doing our thing, and we also had one on North Clinton that a lot of people do not know about. That was about a year, and we had one we had three going at one time. We had the third one was on Genesee Street.
Okay.
And right 2 buildings down from where we are now. And again, we operated like we just did our thing.
So in total, because I only know about the Hudson and North place.
Yeah.
That was late 80s for me, early 90s.
Yes.
When did that spot close down? Like it kind of just like out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, we unfortunately, again, we got older as a family, we mature as a family, and it was the one business was hard to carry everybody. So my parents got a little older, and we had it was during a time when people was just shooting people for no reason at all, and we consulted with my dad and said, and my mom, Dad, close down. It's not worth, losing your life.
Yeah.
And so he was tired, and I said, Dad, we want you to enjoy your golden years.
Yeah.
And just because my dad worked, and he was a guy that he wasn't a flashy guy. All his funds and everything he put right back into the business. He put it into the community. He donated, and that's what we do today too. And I'm following those footsteps.
So after being closed for so many years, which I'm not even sure how long that was.
It's been a while. Yeah.
What inspired you to reopen the business with a takeout and sit-in location back in the city of Rochester?
What inspired me was my dad's dream. He showed us a way how to make something in the neighborhood, and it didn't matter what he taught us. Like it didn't matter what the people were. They were black, white, or whatever. He says money is green, but he says Rick, if we serve great food with great taste and give people an awesome experience, we're gonna make it. Don't worry about the money. The money will come. The people will come, and we're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's as simple as you can get it. And you know what? The moment I remember, I drove down Genesee Street. This is before you guys got inside the building. Y'all were doing the pop-up.
Yes.
The moment I was driving down the street, I almost got in a car accident trying to turn back around. I was like, wait a minute. It's that G&G stick. I was like, and when I turned back around, I didn't realize that it was lines of people just waiting, because it really wasn't nowhere to park.
Right.
But they were just waiting. And I was like, this community is excited that G&G Steakhouse is back. Yes.
And it's been a blessing for us, because the goal was, here's the thing that inspired me was, I had a dream, and simply it's this: had a great dream and saw my dad. I was walking in the rain, and I saw my dad pull up like in this like limo, like he was the Godfather.
Yeah.
The window rolled down. I'm standing at the window, and we're just having this. He looked good. He looked happy, fresh. He's like I don't want to come back there. Like, no, like, and I said, Dad, I said, I'm tossed. I want to keep working. I'm doing 6 figures and stuff right now, but I want to bring G&G Steakout back. And he nodded his head and says, but it was like we weren't talking words. It was like we could understand each other in the dream. And what inspired me was, I says, Dad, I want to carry on your legacy. And he said, he did his hand like, this is Rick. Don't worry about my legacy.
Yeah.
He said, work on your legacy. Mm-hmm. Work on the legacy of doing this for your kids, the community, your cousins, your nieces, your siblings. He says, work on it like that. He says, build it with a community base, and you're going to be good. Then I said, Dad, I want to use the name G&G Steakout too for next year. And he did like this, like 2 thumbs up. Mm-hmm. And then he did like this, and he did like, and he said, Rick, this is good.
Wow, what a powerful dream! My goodness.
So,
and you almost look like you're getting choked up even just talking.
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
Because after the dream, I mean, when he said that, the last part, Rick, you're gonna do fine. Just follow, just go and do it. And then the last thing he said, Rick, he always spoke in riddles and using songs. He said, he says, no matter what, he said, it's okay to sit on the dock of the bay and watch your tears roll away. And then he said, excuse me, son, but sometimes you got to get off your A and play. You got to grind. You got to, he says, no matter what obstacles come your way, keep moving. And he says, you will see the opening, the opening of that, of where you want to go at the end result. And so that's where we are today. So bring full forward from back then to now. As you guys, everybody got a prelude of where we are today. We have 2 locations. The first location is a concept 1 of a takeout, and it looks really nice. If you stand inside, you do not feel like you're on Genesee Street.
No, you did a wonderful job with that.
Thank you. And then this one here is our flagship location, and you can come in and dine. And the food, again, both locations, our goal, our thing is great food, great taste, and an awesome experience.
Yeah, and you know what? I was looking, I said, man, they could do jazz in here. They can, I mean, it's a lot of different things that you can do that will, draw a whole different type of crowd. Like, I don't know if you were thinking about that when you started setting this up like this.
We were, and I can tell you this, that's already happening. That was part of our vision, to utilize this for comedians. For that, we've collaborated with my partners and I, we've collaborated with the Eastman School of Music students, and from 3 to 6 every day, there's a group that come here to play jazz from their master's program. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We've kind of like collaborated with a guy that's on our team is Jimmy Highsmith. He kind of sets all that up for us, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing seeing it.
Man, this is going to be amazing. Well, let me ask you this, because a few years ago, I kind of know your son Quentin.
Yes.
I met him through Michael Peace.
Yes.
And who's been my mentor since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And Quentin one day was talking to me, he was telling me he was in Atlanta. You guys had a spot in Atlanta.
Yes.
And it was a ghost kitchen, right?
Yes, ghost kitchen.
And so tell me what's going on with the Atlanta place.
The Atlanta thing right now, that we started off with the ghost kitchen. And for those of you who don't know what a ghost kitchen is, it's like a big warehouse with about 40 restaurants in it and a huge lobby with lockers in it. And each restaurant make their food. They have a runner that come up and pick it up and put it in the locker. The third-party pickup people will come and pick out the locker, take the food out the locker, and deliver it. And but our customers were used to seeing us, and seeing us making the food and seeing the hello, how you doing? And as you know, in Rochester, in Georgia, in Atlanta, there's a huge Rochester community.
Oh, yes, it is.
And they know, and they were like, where are you at? So we got, basically that didn't work out for us. It went well, it started well, but the ghost kitchen just didn't work out for us. So we are working ourselves backwards from there right now with this brand, and then we're going to get five stores here, come back and actually restart in Atlanta again.
Oh man, okay, that's gonna be awesome. So is Quentin still in Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so you guys are working on that as we speak.
As we speak, I'll be actually traveling down in about 2 weeks to look at our designated location, which is, I'm excited because listen, when you dream and you dream big, you got to go get it, and it's about not building just one store. It's about building a franchise that we can all be proud of.
Wow. So with that being said, I think we talked, and you talked about how you were planning on opening a drive-up location.
Yes.
And
yes.
expanding that through the whole franchise concept.
Yes. Well, again, Genesee Street store at 810 Genesee, that's a takeout. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
350 East Main is our flagship model with dine-in and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have different things that you can, entertainment and all of that here. You got to come in and see it for yourself. Us showing snap pictures just don't do it justice here. You got to feel the ambience. You got to feel the aura here.
I just saw, when you was just saying that, I just saw even people doing poetry up here.
Yes. Spoken word.
Yeah.
So we're good with that. We're excited about what we can do. Now, the third concept that we want to bring is a drive-through concept, which for us with this food, it's going to be a big hit. We're cooking fresh food.
Yeah.
And so the drive-through will be a little slower, but people will understand. And so it'll be the first of its kind. And we want people to be, excited about it. But that's concept 3.
I'm already excited about it myself.
And so so those of you who are not ready right now, or you might be ready, get ready, because we're going to have 3 different concepts that people can purchase a franchise. And we're 3 working models, not just on paper, but data with it and everything. So get ready for that.
I may be one of the franchisees or whatever, however you say it. Okay, so you got me fired up now. So oddly enough, my son Rodney,
yes,
Junior, is friends with your son Jojo.
Jojo, yes,
and he knows Quentin.
Yes.
Matter of fact, him and Jojo are pretty tight. He went to Detroit for Jojo's wedding.
Yes.
And then you said you were like racking your brain, like, wait a minute, I know this guy. I've seen him somewhere before.
Yes.
I thought it was just from Daryl,
Nope.
Pastor Daryl and Nathan, and you was like, no, I've seen you somewhere before.
Yes.
And
called it out, and we worked. I had another restaurant called Steakout International in the Sibley's building, and literally you came down there with a family there. They had ordered, and the lady had like three little. She had one little son and 2 girls, and you didn't order yet. You were standing behind them, and what you did was like, I'll never forget it. You gave $5 each to one of the kids, and the kids said, and you told mom, like, make sure they put it, take care of it, put it in the bank, and you gave them some encouraging words and love, and that was it. And then you place your order, and that act of giving to me, openly, publicly, freely, is sent. I'll never forget. Like, I literally could see it. Like a little movie screen in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And so when I began that, I said, did you work in the Sibley's building? You said, yeah. Did you remember this? Yeah. That was a while ago. I said, yeah.
I was in the 90s.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
I was like, man, you got a memory like a hawk or something. Because I was like, I don't remember even the experience. I know that if I feel led,
yes.
And my wife, she just passed a little while ago.
Okay,
but
yes.
She used to be like so aggravated with me because she'll be like, "You don't know you stopping and giving those people money. They could go use drugs." I said, when I release it, it's not my business what they do.
Exactly.
If God tells me to release it,
yes.
And I don't even want to say if God tells me to release it, but the whole point is, if I feel led to release the money, it's not my business what they do with it. It's on them.
Right.
And so, man, I was in my 20s back then. I mean, it seems so long ago, but Yeah, I did work on the third floor in the Sibley's building. So when you said that, I was like, that's crazy. But my son has been to your house.
Been in my house and ate our food, ate barbecue, slept, knocked out in the hot tub. And just had a great time with we connected and then when I saw him, that's how I was like, oh yeah, I know this guy like that, but I hadn't seen him in a while. And when you know that young men come from good stock, not just from good family, but I'm talking about even in a spiritual way. Yeah. It meant a lot. Like seeing, reuniting. I was like, like all these young men, and I got to see them at JoJo's wedding.
Yeah.
It was a wedding of jubilation.
Yeah.
It was like a storytell wedding, and they were all like they were like just having a party. Like, yo, remember we had this?
Oh, he said it was an amazing time. He said it was amazing. He was like, even when he was going, he was like, I gotta buy me something to wear. I gotta go. That's my guy. JoJo went to Rutgers too, right?
Yes, he went to Rutgers
Quentin went
for
to
a little bit. Yeah, and then JoJo transferred to Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Okay. And finished out his football career, college and football career there.
Well, him and Rodney would be on the phone and playing
Madden.
Yeah, over the. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
but they would have their headsets on, and I'm like, who you talking to? He's like, it's JoJo, and I'm like, they would pray together and everything.
Yes.
So it's good to see that our kids are connecting with people of the same spirit and focus and goals and things of that nature. And like I said, I met Quentin through Michael Peace. Matter of fact, I got a picture of me and Quentin together.
Oh man.
Hopefully I'll put it up on the screen.
All right.
When we were at a service on a Saturday with Michael Peace.
All right.
And I don't know how Quentin knows Michael Peace. Maybe was he going to Bethel Express too?
He was going, and we were at Bethel as a family.
Okay.
So,
because Mike Peace is Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, he is. He's
genuine, loves children, loves everybody.
Yes.
And just looks to help people. So I was like, this is amazing. Go to kingdomandwill.com. It's the ultimate destination for casual and stylish clothing that represents your love for the kingdom. I personally vouch for the exceptional quality and comfort of their apparel. That's why you'll see me wearing their shirts during my podcast episodes. So whether you're looking for everyday wear or want to make a statement, Kingdom and Will has got you covered. Don't forget to use the discount code The Truth for a fantastic 15% off your purchases. Join the kingdom today and embrace your style while representing the kingdom. That's kingdomandwill.com. Mm-hmm. So Quentin plays at Rutgers. I see you got a ring on your finger.
Yes.
That's from one of the Pro Bowls.
One of the bowl games they played.
I said Pro Bowl. One of the
they
bowl
played at the Pinstripe Bowl game, and they played Iowa, and they won. And how I happened to get this ring, Greg Shannon told Quentin to give it to me because pretty much the company made a mistake. When you're the winner, the ring actually should be written on one side. It should say champions.
Okay.
Now the losers will still get this kind of ring.
Okay.
Without champions on it. And so they kept these, and Greg Shannon said, Quentin, give that to your father. He deserves it like that. So I said, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Mr. Shannon. Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Thank you. I felt good. Thank you, man.
Yeah, so
I was like, hey, right? Yes.
So what did they have to give them a different type of ring?
They brought brand new rings, and they were bigger, and they had the ruby around the big R. He changed it.
Oh, okay.
He got a big it's big. It's heavy.
So now Quentin, he got drafted.
Yes.
Right. To what team?
Undrafted free agent to the Eagles.
The Eagles.
Eagles, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that when that happened? I mean, because I know you've worked extensively with your kids.
It was amazing. Again, if I go back a little bit, just being able to coach at Bishop Kearney, and not many fathers get to coach and see their kids develop at Bishop Kearney. I let his head coaches at that time do what they needed to do on the flip side. Quentin and I took him all across the country, and he performed, and he understood. Just like and during this whole time, you got to understand, I'm kind of putting 2 or 3 stories at one time.
Mm-hmm.
JoJo, Nate, all these, your son,
Mm-hmm.
all these kids, they saw Quentin.
Yeah.
They knew. So it was just like they knew. They had like, when I get there, I want to go too. And they were all at the draft party at the house. We had about 70 people there, and it was it was surreal. It was real, this whole thing. And then Quinn got, the phone's ringing. My phone, my wife's phone. We had about 5 phones. So you got, for me, like, the Quinn's agents, like, everybody's going to start calling right now. Well, then you got the Raiders calling my phone, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the Raiders. So the agent said, well, just say hi and see what they know. Put them on hold. And I'm like, but this is the Raiders. I was waiting for the Dolphins, real, but I was waiting for the Dolphins. Yeah. So then
going back to Miami.
Yeah, trying to get back, but then what happened? My wife had got a call from Denver. Yeah, like just different people calling, and ended up pretty much dealing out with the Eagles.
Wow.
Yeah,
that had to be. I mean, that sounds so exciting. So JoJo, he didn't come back to Rochester, right? No, JoJo lives in Michigan right now. Yeah, but JoJo got drafted with the indoor professional football league and went to South Dakota and played down there for 2 seasons. Okay, and kind of ended up, he enjoyed it, was doing well. He ended up injuring his ankle and had surgery. So then there's no more, like NFL is not for long. Yeah. But the great thing about all these student athletes is that, and note I said student athletes. Yes. We prepared them to, like, hey, what are you going to do after the game? Yeah. What are you going to do? Use your education, use your mind, use your gift, and don't start pitying yourself because you didn't put all your eggs in one basket just to play the game. You done put in whatever you can get out, and that's so the boys are the young men right now. They're working in their gifting. They're Quinn owns two or three different companies, and he does things like train people internationally over Zoom, and people are paying. It is amazing. They're paying because they want that. Well, he looks like Superman. So yes, obviously, if you want this, sign up over Zoom. Get these guns. So it's been a beautiful journey in life for us, and seeing the young men develop and grow from high school, from junior high school to seniors to college to band, like been there for them, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so how many kids do you have total? I have 3 boys and 3. I have 4 kids. 4 kids? Yes. Okay, 3 boys and 1 girl. And 1 girl. Okay. Yes. So you seem to be a very present father. Yes. So even with your father running all the businesses he was running, was he a very present father as well? Yes, he was. Okay. He was a very present father. My dad was, my father in my high school career, I'll give you an example. Again, he was the manager. He was the regional meat. He became the regional meat manager for Star Market. So he was all over the place. But my father came to like 4 of my football games throughout my high school career. And the one that meant the most, it was like a movie. I was running a touchdown, and I could see him at the end of the fence. He's like, I was all I heard was, "Go Rick, go!" like that. It was like a movie. To hear, right? Yeah, everything else like quieted down, and I could hear him, and I saw him. And then I waved. I did my hand like this at him, but really, like, I always raised my hand, like giving glory to God for every touchdown. What high school was this? Edison. I played football for Edison Tech. Okay, now you talking about when Edison was over on where was that? It originally was on Hudson. You went to that one? I went to that for 3 years, and then my class was the first graduating class from the new Colfax. Okay. Yes, yes. Man. Yes. I never, when people tell me that, I'm always surprised, like, because over there I can't picture how the school was over there, you know, because it's so, at one point it was just a big field.
It was big thing, and it was built up high, and it looked like a big old factory. Because again, Edison was a industrial school, so they taught that stuff, you know, back in the from that time. So,
wow. So, I want to ask you this question: when you were with your busy schedule as an owner of the Steakhouse and the head football coach in high school, how did you manage both roles, or you eventually just had to let one go?
For the business side, you know, during that time before I stopped, I was just working on the business plan and figuring out just spiritually how am I going to do this? Because I know at the end of the day, I loved coaching. I love pointing to the kids, and pointing and teaching them, because I understood where they needed to go and how they need to do it. And the formula, the recipe I had, it worked for every kid that I work with.
Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah. It was number one. I devised simple talk when I did seminars with them. I said, listen, when you're in high school, look at your academics like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter in football, and you execute, and you want to make the dean. You want to first execute. If you're not on the dean's list right now, make the dean's list. Then and then I don't want you to not be so happy with that. Let's make the top dean's list. Everything. Why? Because pretend you'd have made the dean's list. And when you're in college right now, you're going to be in the coach's pocket. Why? Because they're going to see you as a kid, and because every kid that makes the dean's list, it looks good for his program.
I know you're talking good.
We devised this way of thinking and having them program the kids in a good way to think like that, don't settle for less. Gotta get the goods. Don't settle for two B's and a C and get the best. Get it. Make this top tier thing. And I said, be a happy student athlete. I said, don't look at only this type of kid or this type, Indian, white, Chinese, whatever. But be a proud young black man standing up with that group too, and you're doing football full time, which is like a part-time job in college, while trying to obtain your education.
Exactly.
So we devised that throughout high school with them. We took them on trips. We let them know little things to do. We talked to them about attitude. Talked to them about hard work. If you're gifted, you got to work out. You still got to work out to get better. Don't let anybody else outwork you. And we just talked about how to just keep going and sit in. We talked about little things like sitting in the front row in the middle of the seat of the row. Talked about taking notes. We talked about being present at every meeting, at everything, being there first. And then we talked about leadership. Talked about how to be a leader when you're not on the field, how to be a leader when you're in the classroom, how to be. Guess what? It's going to be great for you. And then we talked about little things like let's go on the academic side. Use your resources like we use our resources out here in this world. If you're in doing so let's say at Bishop Kearney they were doing like a Bible essay or something like that. Well, guess what? Do your essay. Go and talk to your English teacher. Hey, can you look this over? Can you go over this with me? What do you think? I said, so what's going to happen? Well, when these teachers go in the break room, they're going to talk. Such and such is doing good, and they're going to see you in a different light.
I see what you're saying.
And so we brought that on, and it works.
Wow. Yep. And the thing about it is I told my sons this too. Some of the similar things you were telling them, but I said, let me tell you something. If you work hard work beats talent.
Yes, absolutely.
And I said, and then if you take care of the classroom, that person who's been totally relying on their talent, what happens is they don't have the grades.
Right.
And so they eliminate themselves right out the gate from being that person that school is recruiting. So now if you got this kid that's working hard, he's working hard in the classroom and on the basketball court or the field, that's the kid they want to take.
Right, exactly.
I said, so trust me, if you do the things that I'm telling you, you're going to be right where you need to be, because there's going to be other people that's going to eliminate themselves because they're not going to do the work in both areas.
Exactly.
And so it's funny because my son was telling me he went to school and he said, Dad, what's crazy is I only ended up starting because by the second semester, most of the guys were ineligible to play in college. I said, it's not the only reason though.
Yeah.
It's because that coach seen that you were putting that work in.
Right, exactly.
And I said, that's the reason why you running around here saying you only, but you started the rest of the time you was there, because he knew, like you said, he could he had you in that pocket and knew he could rely on you.
Solid.
You're a solid guy. Yeah. So there's a ton of guys that we'll never ever see play college basketball, college football, or a gamut of sports because they're not going to use the recipe or the formula which you speak of to do the things that they need to do to position themselves. So, you know this from being in the schools. It's always that one or two kids in the hallway that's better than everybody on the basketball court, but they won't get it done in the classroom.
Right, which is important, is important in life. And it's just much like, us as people here in this community, when utilizing our resources, okay? And let's go back to business, things like that. We have a lot of community businesses that want to start up, but guess what? We have to learn to dot our I's, cross our T's, and get the work, turn it in, be relentless, push. Because if what ends up happening is that people without a vision, they will perish, and then people like that, they will not want. They just give up. And we got to learn. We got to learn to push. And now we got to use each other too, but as resourceful, but we got to push hard. And that's what we cannot. Again, we cannot sit on the dock of the bay. And watch our tears roll away. We gotta get out there and play. We got to grind no matter what.
Yes, it's amazing what you use the scripture. I think it's Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish, but happy is he who keeps the law.
Yes.
One translation of it that's amazing. It says, where there is no revelation.
Yes.
Where there is no uncovering, where there's no revelation, people cast off restraints. So if you don't see yourself in the future, you don't set boundaries.
Correct.
You don't set parameters in your life to say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to miss this. So a lot of people, I believe, are failing at things because they don't really see themselves in the future. They don't. Even though God has given them a vision of it, and I believe he does it with everybody.
Oh, yes. But it's our level of faith, and faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And if you look at, if that comes to you in a dream, a vision, or just thought, God's given it to you. And you got to build on it. You got to get on the grind and refine. And as you do those things, what happens is that God will begin to open doors for you like no other. But again, we each have a certain level of faith, and we're granted that. And if you don't utilize it and practice it, just like, sport-wise, you shooting a jump shot, or you doing cone work with football, you got to practice your faith. You got to practice. And I'll tell you this here, like David, you got to put God to the test. God. You promised my enemies are against me. Lord, what am I going to do? How do I get through this? I mean, we would have thought David was a wimp, but David was like, yo, I'm calling you out. Like, what you going to do? Like, can you fix this?
And he's faithful to his word to perform.
Yes.
He literally said, in Jeremiah 1:12, he says, I hasten to my word to perform it. That if he's released it to you, he's connected that to that until it comes to pass.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, you got me excited. But Isaiah 46:10, he turns around and says, I declare the end from the beginning.
Yes.
So if he showed you something, he's showing you something he's already done.
And all we have to do in theory is just have action to get towards it. Every door will open It'll be open before you get there. And Lord, be my lawyer, be my doctor, be my guy, and every door will open. Lord, just do it. And for the golden bucket's right there.
Amen. You got me saying amen. So I'm saying amen like we in church. You preaching now. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
So I'm sorry, but I want to ask you, can you name to me the 5 most influential men in your life?
Yes. There are many. The first is my father.
Mm-hmm. That gets me every time when somebody says that. Go ahead.
My dad.
Mm-hmm.
Just a man of God, a father. He wasn't just a dad, he was a father.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a father to a lot of kids in the neighborhood, and I saw him share his love. He was a father to older men,
mm-hmm.
because his father had passed away. And I just understood.
Yeah.
I saw my dad work 2 or 3, 4 jobs, and came home with the cheddar cheese and gave it to my mom, just old school. My mom didn't work. And then I would say in a group, my dad's brothers, my uncles, Carl Gause, Bernie Gause, Hubert, Bill Gause, all my uncles, they were the same cloth of my dad, which was like just smooth. And then that group that I just said is really like one, but that's a subgroup of one.
That's a good group.
And in the next group, I'm gonna really say that was Mr. Walker, who's I'm part of my partner, Varick Baina, his dad,
mm-hmm.
was a big man in Rochester and stuff. The next one is, this is a grouping like here, but is Mr. The guy that owned WDKX, Mr. Langston.
Okay.
Him and my dad were great friends, just beautiful men. And then Mr. Bill Johnson, the former mayor.
Yes.
Just a friend, a community leader. So my dad, I was plugged into things with my dad, with men that worked on the community,
mm-hmm.
and I saw that. And then I just so many key people that there's Mr. Al's guy that owned Al's grocery store.
I remember that on
Plymouth Avenue.
Yes, yep.
All these men, my father would roll up and they talk about business. I remember. So those are some of the men that I literally saw coming up. And I think I want to get the name right, but the next name is Mr. Wallace. He was the former basketball coach at Madison High School. I can't think of his name. I may have misspoken it, but he was a former basketball coach. But him and my father, they were all good friends and true to the heart.
This thing that you keep speaking of, it goes right back to your father.
Yes.
And then you talked about your uncles who were cut from the same cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to tell you what it does for me is you didn't have to start out looking for an example of what real men look like outside of your home and your family.
Right.
So, it's a very rare thing to hear you talk the way you talk
mm-hmm.
about your father, because you keep talking about community connection, but you go right back to your father. Keep talking about your uncles, but you go right back to your father. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing, though, that I always tell people the most powerful thing a father can give their children is his presence.
Yes.
Not gifts, not money.
Right.
Because all of those things, they fade away.
Mm-hmm.
But we always remember how people made us feel.
Yes,
not what they did for us,
exactly.
but how they made us feel.
Exactly.
And so I just think it's so amazing. Yes. You're like the second person
this
week that I've interviewed that's talking the way you're talking. The other person was Kevin Shepard.
Oh man!
And
yeah, good dude.
He
awesome.
named his grandfather, his father, his stepfather. He couldn't even name any other people outside of it.
Yeah.
He said because he didn't want to leave anybody out.
Right.
But he said from a foundational perspective, that made everything. It is what it is because of those things. So I got another one for you.
Okay.
5 women in your life that had a major influence.
My mom, just the foundation and the pillar of my dad.
Yeah.
She was there with him, thick and thin. Better or for worse.
Yeah.
She raised, again, did not work. Just everything that she did, took care of the business books, took care of everything, making sure that we went to a private school back in the day. Cost a lot of money out in the suburbs, and just took care of other kids in the community. Our home was a place, was a haven for people. Kids didn't want to leave to go to their own home.
And you end up doing the same thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just a beautiful thing. Yeah. Just, and then I'm going to say I'm going to go back, Mrs. Langston.
Wow. Okay.
Mrs. Langston, man, just the purity person that said it like it was, let it be. And just again, a strong community person. I loved listening. You knew her theme when it came on the radio, and I, whether you liked it or not, I listened, and the content was beautiful. What she wanted to convey to the community was just powerful, and I wish that we could like rehash some of those views, but that she was one. And I would say coming back is my aunties and all my aunties from my father's side and my mother's side. They were a conglomerate group that shaped us. Didn't let us, we were back then. If you wanted to communicate, it was on the phone or a letter. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have, we didn't have FaceTime. We didn't have none of that. It was letters. So we would write. They wanted, when I was in the summer, they would want us to write and boom and communicate. And that's how to keep us sharp. That was my summer schooling pretty much.
Wow.
So those are the type of women that, I got to name one more.
Okay.
Because I would be reluctant. I got to tell you, bring my tears, but Miss Katie Hair Boutique.
Wow, I remember Miss Katie Hair Boutique.
That woman, she treated me like a son, and I call her mom today. And she looked out for me. She, just like my own mother, but she was a strong community. One of the first strong African American women that had her business in the community on Hudson Avenue and did hair and was
for years,
and she's doing it today. But I love that woman, and so those are the women that I could think of right now. If I forgot anybody out, I love you. It's not intended, but these are some of the women that really touched my life.
Yeah. Well, I tell you that I'm glad you didn't go ahead and cry. I've been cried with you.
Oh man!
But yes, she definitely a major staple in this community.
Yes.
I want to thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Forging out this time. I want to thank you because you didn't have to do it, but when my wife passed, you were inboxing me on Facebook Messenger. Yes. I love you, brother. Just let me know you were praying for me, and not realizing that we don't know each other. No.
Right.
You didn't have to do that.
Right. I wanted to uplift and show the love, brother, because I understand when you lose someone you love, and you were basically showing a lot of men out there how to love your wife. And it's almost like, and I'm going to relate it to sports right now. When you're winning and you win, you celebrate.
Yeah.
And it's all commemorable and everything. When you lose, a good trained athlete still know how to be a champion when they lose someone? How do you continue to say, well, you want to get better, you want to shape, and I wanted to like be behind you saying that to you, bro. Keep doing what you do, because she is with you. The legacy that she has enriched your life and kids' life and everybody, it's not for naught. And I wanted to just show that love and show you, bro, because a lot of people, iron sharpens iron. And I just wanted to be there for you like that.
I appreciate it. I'm just trying to keep it together.
You're good.
Because that was a good analogy with the sports.
Yes.
Everybody knows how to celebrate when they're winning. Can you celebrate when you're in a losing season, or it feels like you're losing?
Right.
And
to keep winning.
To keep winning. Good Lord of mercy.
To keep winning.
To keep winning. And even if it don't feel like it, you're winning.
Yes.
You know, I think I did what I was trying to do. I was trying to let other people understand how much I love my wife.
Yes. Yes, it was effective.
Yeah. And my uncle called me and said, I told my wife I got to step my game up and do better. And I was just like, I wasn't intending on that effect, but it's just a blessing. But I appreciate you. Yeah. And how can our guests or people connect with you if they want to connect with you? Are you on social media?
We're on social media. My social media is Richard Gause. You'll see my beard or bald head. Some people, when I'm shaved up, I look like they call me Mr. Brown. And I go into that character sometime.
Oh, my goodness.
They can go to Steakout.com on our website and just see what we have. And we have 2 locations. And keep us in prayer. And we love you, Rochester.
Awesome. Once again, thank you for being my guest. I appreciate you carving out time for me. Thank you for the encouragement. And I want to thank you all for watching today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share as well so someone can hear today's topic and be encouraged in a very mighty way. Also, remember, as we get ready to close, I'm trying to pull it together. You should know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Amen.
All right.